today by my colleague Kat Covell.
Hey, Will Murphy.
Welcome to today's Tech Talks. We have a nice kickoff topic. We're going to talk about the new RDM implementation in version 3.2. And then, as usual, floor is opened up to all questions. You have that little field there where you can ask us some questions. We're happy to answer anything and everything. If you have questions related to RDM, we're happy to try answering those. If you have questions related to anything else, we're happy to answer those. And we also have your list of pre-registration questions that we will try to get to.
So don't be shy. Ask questions throughout the webinar. You don't have to just ask them at the end. So let's get
true. Type them while you think of them.
Yeah.
Okay, so today we're talking about RDM. Basically, this is a protocol that is part of the serial data 5-pin DMX. It travels next to the DMX signal, so there's actually two protocols going down that 5-pin line. And the objective is to give you access to the settings that exist on the side of the fixture. Now, there's two components involved here. You have to consider the implementation of RDM in the controller, in this case MA2, and you have to consider the implementation of RDM in the fixture itself. So, if RDM is being problematic, you have to check with the fixture manufacturers. The MA development team went through some 50 to 100 fixtures during the development phase to try to suss out as many bugs as possible. So far, since 3.223 came out in June, we haven't actually found any new RDM bugs in the MA2. All the RDM problems have been associated with the fixture itself, so it's very good to contact the manufacturer of the fixture to find out if everything RDM related on that fixture is actually working. If fixture manufacturers haven't actually implemented RDM in their fixtures, sometimes the fixtures will act erratic as a result of that RDM signal coexisting on the 5-pin DMX cable. And we were aware of that, so we put provisions in the MA2 software to actually disable RDM by universe. So if you have fixtures that don't react well to the RDM signal, you can disable that on a per universe basis. So today we're just going to show you the how to set up RDM in the MA2 and show you what tools are available. So let's get started. I have two fixtures here with me, Sharpie Claypaky Sharpie Wash and Claypaky Elita K10. These are connected to my command wing. Keep in mind, RDM in the MA2 system is only supported on MA2 products. That means fixtures have to be plugged directly into the console, the MPU, any of the MA2 gigabit nodes, or the OMPC wings. That means old NSPs, old 2-port nodes will not work with RDM, even if those are connected to the MA2 system. Also, due to timing reasons, RDM probably won't work through many of the opto splitters, even those that do say RDM capable. This has to do with the timing related signals of DMX, much deeper than I know how to explain. There are a couple splitters on the market that will work if you need to, but for best performance, plug those directly into your MA2 products. Our intent is to make sure that we don't interfere with MA2 DMX signal. So we started by saying we're going to maintain good signal quality from our DMX, and then RDM gets layered on top of that. We promise not to interfere with the synchronized DMX offered by MANet. If you've never heard that before, we guarantee frame synchronous DMX. That means every single DMX port in a MA2 system has the DMX frames synchronized. No other protocol can offer this. This is particularly useful for really big shows, anything for TV because the camera shot has a wide view of the stage. You don't want to have these cascading issues due to DMX not being synchronized. So back into this, I have these two fixtures plugged into my command wing. We're going to patch them. We're going to add a fixture. We'll go from library. We'll search for not Clary, but instead Clay. BIK10. I don't know. I want to do the shapes mode. And that will be the first fixture. This is actually at address 171. And then my second fixture will be Sharpie wash. We'll do standard here. And that's address 249. I actually think I would like to switch these just based how they're sitting in front of me. Oops. So my Sharpie wash will be address 1. All right. So now we have to enable RDM. So under setup, the second tab, you'll go to global settings. This is a global RDM enabled. So now RDM is enabled in the Grand MA2. And we go to show, we go to patch and fixture schedule. You'll see on the bottom right, there's a new button, RDM Devices. You go there, you'll see the RDM button is enabled. If it's not, you would enable it here. And you notice, while I was in here, my two fixtures just showed up because it was doing a discovery. Discovery on a universe is roughly every 6 seconds. It performs a read to see what's there. And if you wanted to scroll here, we get some names. So you get the manufacturer, you get the actual model description. So if I click on, these are going to be organized by fixture type. So since I have two different types, I end up seeing 2 here. If I had multiple Sharpie washes, I would see multiple Sharpie washes listed here. And what has occurred, it's identified an RDM UID, that's a unique ID per fixture. You'll see the RDM name that's read from the fixture. So this is implemented in the fixture firmware. The fixture's telling me this is a Sharpie Wash 330 PC. I can see the mode that is currently set on the side of the fixture. So remember, all this information is coming from the fixture itself. The fixture has an address of 249. Now I haven't matched this up to the MA. Remember, back here we have a patch. All right? You have to link each patch item to the UID that you see in the RDM devices list. This matching does not happen automatically. I can't magically know that UID 435013 blah 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 is associated with fixture 12 in my Grand MA2 patch. This is going to be a manual process. Now there is some automation that can occur based on the patch address. So if we go, you see how I've patched fixture 1 to address 249, and I've detected the fixture is already set to an address 249. I can do an auto match by patch. So what auto match by patch, it says, oh, the fixture is 249, and fixture 1 is address 249, so I'm going to match those up. Matching them up is going to get to that. It's so you can have some additional features available to you in the software. The nice thing is right from here you can actually change settings of your fixture. So if 249 on the fixture is wrong, I can right click on that, I can make that 301. And I just noticed on my fixture across the room the display now says 301 instead of 249. If it's the wrong mode, maybe I need it to be vector mode, I can change it. So that's the actual mode on the side of the fixture. It's changing modes right now, so it did something, the rediscovery occurred, and now I can click on this wash. I can see that it's RDM mode 222 vector mode. So over here I might want to change this to be vector mode. I go to from library, Sharpie wash, and I will do vector mode, which is 22. So you see how and remember this was address 301. So now we're going to exit and save. And now my fixture reacts again. So I can see right there that it's a 22 channel footprint and the mode is vector. Remember, again, let me reiterate, this information is provided to us by the fixture. If the fixture manufacturers haven't done, a complete implementation of RDM, you might not get all this nice information. So it's worth asking your manufacturers. Claypaky is doing a really good job with including useful information in their RDM implementation. So now, in order to take advantage, actually, back up a second. I'm going to click on this line. This is kind of the basic information that you need. If we click on this line and we go to RDM info, you get a much bigger list of information about this fixture, including all those settings. So I can see lamp hours are at 60, lamp strikes at 22, all that information that's on the side of the fixture. We could see lamp state, and we get this polling option. If I don't need most of this information, why saturate the bandwidth of your DMX cable for information that you don't care about? So you can actually turn off polling for certain information. If I don't care about lamp strikes, just toggle that to no. It's not going to read that information anymore. You can obviously jump in here and change this anytime you want. But these are all the settings that you might get: modes, pan tilt, homing mode, shutter, errors, all kinds of stuff. What the manufacturer chooses to implement and make available is up to them. So these are the settings, aka parameters. You can go to sensors. Okay, sensors are going to be like, I believe these ones are related to the fans. Here's a funny thing about RDM. These are all sensor frequency. Thankfully, Claypaky included a little bit of a description, but it doesn't specifically say fan. We've tested fixtures that just say parameter 1 through 20 with random numbers that don't mean anything useful. So you have to do a cross-reference in the fixture manual provided by the manufacturer that tells you that sensor 5 is the fan for the power supply. These values have no predefined spec requirement. This could be, 48. This could be 4,800. This could be 48,000. It's up to the manufacturer what that means. There's no provisions for decimal points, so sometimes this number, 4,800, could actually be 48.05. Every fixture manufacturer is different, so keep that in mind. And then you also get messages. If there's any errors that occur on the fixture, you'll actually see the messages pop up here, which can be very handy. Good stuff. So, to take advantage of warnings that are available in the fixture sheet and the layout view, you have to actually match this fixture to a real fixture ID, and currently you can see they're not matched up. Now, I can do this one by one. The nice thing is there's an identify function, so if I choose the Alita, I choose this, and I say identify, you can see in my camera the room is flashing because those fixtures are set to flash. Okay, the console is not telling this thing what to do. I just told the Sharpie wash to identify itself, and it's doing a value. Okay, the identification feature is related to RDM, and it's built into the fixture. So when I hit identify, MA2 has nothing to do with this. It just texts the flag for RDM that says identify, and it turns out the BI, Claypaky programmed it to flash. For the wash, Claypaky programmed it to do a value. Everything's different. Got to talk to your fixture manufacturers about what you want identify to do. So if I identify the Sharpie wash, I can actually manually match this to MA. So Sharpie wash would be this one, match, and now it's matched up. Or I can do something a little faster. I'll say auto match by patch because that BI is patched to address 71. The fixture itself is set to 71, so I can just auto match by patch. So it auto matches all my RDM fixtures.
Well, we actually have a question about exactly what you're doing right now. So we have one of each fixture happening. If you had multiple fixtures, can you match all at once, or is this a one-by-one process?
So over here on the right side, you'd see a whole list of everything. if I were to do this right click, that would be one by one. Instead, if I have a whole list, I'll do an auto match by patch. It's going to auto match all of them like in one foul swoop. So if you already patched all your fixtures in MA2 right here, and the fixtures themselves already have the addresses set up, it's just going to auto match by patch in one foul swoop. Very quick. If you don't have your address, if every fixture in your rig is set to address 1, okay, but your MA2 has the correct patch address, this is going to be a one by one thing. You're going to go through the list and you're going to say, okay, this one is this, and you're going to do the next one, this one is this. Now, you can have the system auto patch all those fixtures, because it's going to go here, it's going to say, oh, 1.301 is matched up with this UID, and then it's going to write this address. So RDM marketing seems to indicate that there's this magical automatic, everything just magically figures itself out, but it doesn't work this way. There's always a manual process. You're either going to patch everything manually in the MA2, or you're going to have to match everything in the MA2, and then it can auto-address your fixtures. But there's always a manual process, because I have no idea that fixture on stage right, truss 2 is actually, you know, fixture 101.
Can we also back it up a little here, Will? Can you please explain what RDM is and what the purpose is? We just kind of jumped into how you do it with the MA, but why do we need RDM? Why do we use it? Why is this a feature in the software?
I don't know if you need it, but it's a way to access the settings. Instead of you having to have a tech climb the truss and readdress a fixture, you could do it from the console. And why is this going to become more important? It's because fixture manufacturers are starting to release fixtures without displays. So of course Claypaky has displays, so you know, in the warehouse you can prepare all this stuff. If you need to readdress something, you can send a tech up on the truss. But if you're buying fixtures that don't have displays, the settings are only accessible via RDM. So that becomes particularly important. Also a safety thing. You know, why do you want your tech climbing around the truss all day if it's just that you need to invert the pan tilt, or if somebody addressed it wrong, or it's in the wrong mode? You can do that all from the console now. And the other thing is time. You know, if somebody hung 10 of your lights wrong, in the wrong spot, and so the wrong set of lights have all the wrong addresses, you can all redo that here. Some of the marketing that you might hear about RDM is for the entire rig. That's just not realistic. It's a nice dream, but it's just not realistic. The ultimate purpose is that you're on a tour, and every now and then you got to redo a light, or you got to reset it, or you got to change a mode, etc. You can do that pretty quickly from the console. And then from the standpoint of the fixtures that come out without displays, you have to have RDM in order to access them. So rather than having to do that with a separate software, you can just do it from the MA2 software.
So really, it's just a good troubleshooting tool, is what you're getting at.
Yeah, which is why I say it's not a need. It just becomes very convenient depending on the application.
Cool.
So I already showed you the settings, right? You could jump in this menu and just access all the settings of the fixtures, and you can see what the sensors are doing. The K10 has a lot more sensors because there's a lot of temperature sensors in here apparently. To mention what I was telling you before last time, this is just sensor 1 through 10. I have no idea what these mean. I have to go to the manual to find out what sensor is associated with what. And this is great. Look at these values. 310 degrees? I don't think that's what that means. I have a feeling that this is 31.0 centigrade. Is that right? No. Maybe? Yeah, sorry, Celsius. 31.0 Celsius. Every fixture manufacturer will be different. And it's noting the highest value. Whatever this Sensors related with, oh, this actually tells you some info down here. I never noticed this. Units are in centigrade. Huh. So this is actually coming from the fixture. It's actually telling us. It's not telling us where the sensor is located. There's info here, parameters, no messages. So you can get to all the settings. Now if you want to take advantage of the features in the software, you have to do this matching thing, which we did. You don't have to. If you just need to access settings, don't even worry about matching. It's not necessary. If instead you want to be able to see warnings and alerts related to RDM, you have to match them up. So I did that. We'll X out of here. And for your stage technicians, maybe get it on PC, station, backstage, set the user to, stage tech, set the rights to none. So they can't actually do anything, but they can use this handy RDM window. This RDM window just lists off all the fixtures that are detected, tells you information about them, what the settings are. You can actually change the settings from here. You can see sensor information, display information. There's the sensors, and you have little filter options, so you can see just parameters, just sensors, all the above. You can see just the current fixture type that you have selected, just your selection. You can see just alerts and warnings. You can see unmatched fixtures. You can see all the fixtures. It's all about what your stage tech wants to see. This is how stage tech can keep an eye on the rig during a show. If a warning shows up, something's overheating. If it's an installation, you can get warnings about when you've exceeded lamp hours. So we have to set up a trigger. Okay. Go to RDM Devices. Let's find out what kind of trigger we might want to do. On a Sharpie wash. Lamp hours are at 61 right now. Well, just to show you what can happen, I'm going to set up a trigger that says, let me know when the lamp hours have exceeded 60 hours. This information gets associated with the fixture profile. So this Sharpie wash profile is what's being used. Go to Edit, we have RDM notifications. I'm going to add a line here based on a parameter, which would be the lamp hours parameter. The threshold will be greater than, and the value is 60. Now normally I guess you'd do 500, but in this case I guess I'm doing a warning just to let me know I reached a certain value. You could do an alert. These are two different things. So we'll do a warning. There's a default parameter in here that just says there's a warning when the fixture disappears, so you can know that it got unplugged from DMX or something. So that's going to happen. We'll look at a fixture sheet here. You notice the RDM warning already popped up. So I see that in my message center. I click on it. I can see, hey, fixture 1 parameter lamp hours are greater than 60. They're actually at 61. I can click on that to get some more info. I also see this in my fixture sheet. So it looks a little RDM symbol. And that's yellow for warning. It would be red if it was an alert. So remember in the fixture profile I had that choice between alert and warning. And I didn't store any of these to the layout view. So let me add my fixtures to this layout view. Nice and tiny. Great.
Adorable little fixtures there.
Make them a little bigger. And there we go. So you get the little RDM symbol inside the little layout view object as well. So you could set up a layout view of fixtures and be able to quickly see, hey, something triggered related to RDM. I mentioned you might have to turn off RDM per universe if you're using some fixtures that don't support RDM. That would be done in Patch Only Live, DMX list, and you can see RDM devices, and RDM is currently on for the universe. You'll see the discovery pops up about every 6 seconds. It's noting that on universe 1 it's detected 2 devices. If Universe 3 is being used with a bunch of fixtures that don't support RDM, turn that off. There's no more discovery on Universe 3. There's no more RDM traffic, which means it's not going to interfere with those fixtures that don't actually support it. That's all the basics of RDM.
That was a good set of basics there, Will, but we have a lot of RDM questions kind of pouring in here. So you ready to get your brain picked?
I will attempt to try to answer these as much as possible.
All right. This is actually a really good one.
I should precede this. I don't have a lot of history about RDM. I just know what it offers to us, which is really cool stuff. And we're at the mercy of, you know, getting fixtures, manufacturers to support it to the full degree. So let's go.
All right. If you manually match a fixture and then auto-match it, does it override what you previously matched?
No, it shouldn't, because you've already once it's already matched up, it shouldn't change. I guess I could test this, right? I don't want to do that. If I do, I might be lying. If I match this Sharpie to dots, so this is unmatched, Sharpie wash. Oh no, because this is unmatched now. The RDM DMX address matches, but the footprint doesn't match. I can't really test this properly. I need some more fixtures, because since these are unmatched and I hit auto match, it's probably going to fix itself. So I might venture to guess that if you've already manually matched it and then you do auto match, it might override itself. Because if these two checkboxes, if these are both green, auto match should ignore it, but if they're not both green, then it might override. I think these are easy things to test in your rig. I just don't have enough fixtures here to test this correctly.
All right. So earlier you mentioned opto splitters in an RDM system. Do we have any recommended opto splitters, or just stick to MA nodes?
No, our suggestion is to stick to just MA nodes, direct input, direct connection to the nodes. If you find yourself needing opto splitters, the one that we think works has not been fully tested, so it's not published yet. But if you absolutely need that, and you're based in North America, send an email to support@actlighting.com.
It looks like you've actually gotten to a couple of these other questions. There seems to be a lot of questions about the RDM protocol itself. You've gotten about 3 questions about it being sent over the network, SACN or ArtNet or anything of that nature.
We have not implemented RDM over ArtNet or SACN. Only going to work with DMX plugged into MA2 products.
Cool. And again, this is another non-specific MA question, more of an RDM question. Are there lists somewhere of the fixtures that support RDM, or is this kind of arbitrary right now?
I didn't look it up yet, but there is, there's a website called rdmprotocol.com. rdmprotocol.org. I have not actually gone through this myself to see if fixture manufacturers are listed here, but I would say it's something you guys can do. I mean, RDM is not something MA created. It's a standard that came out of the people that write standards, and the internet's being slow. There we go, manufacturer list. So quite a list of manufacturers. The challenge is manufacturers might have it, but they may not have implemented it to the full degree. So it's like if they put one little component of RDM into a fixture, they theoretically could say, oh yeah, we implemented it, but you know, did they really? How much did they implement? I mean, Claypaky is not even on this manufacturer list, and I know RDM and Claypaky is working really well. So it's a good question, though. We'll certainly keep it in mind if we can start listing off fixtures that seem to work nicely with RDM. But the best thing to do, if you're going to get a fixture and you want to know if it supports RDM, contact the fixture manufacturer.
Sage advice right there. It's kind of a multi-part question, which is kind of an interesting thought. Can you trigger anything with RDM warnings? Something as basic as make your up lights go red when you lose a fixture, or a pop-up window to another workstation if a lamp fails.
I think you're overthinking this a little much. You can't trigger anything. You can only trigger based on the available parameters and sensors. So, you know, if we look at the Sharpie wash here, there's only 4 sensors that are available. I imagine there's more sensors in this fixture, but Claypaky's only given RDM access to 4 of them. RDM alerts and warnings are only giving you this little symbol. You know, we're not doing any more extravagant kind of alert warning features yet. You know, I've had people ask me if we could do more. Yeah, I guess we could. We just have to implement it. It's a matter of what people want. Making your lights go red when an alert shows up, not sure that's a great idea, because it might interfere with your show. But having a pop-up, of course, makes sense. And that is something that is available should be available via the message center. So I'm going to change this to an alert. And then we go to see how it's red. Go to message center, I think.
So is that alert across all stations?
Yeah. RDM alert is currently set to status. I could make an RDM alert. A warning would just be a status with the yellow symbol. An alert would give me a pop-up. So I think we turn off RDM. The symbol should go away, maybe? Never tried this one before. Change some things in the patch to make it refresh itself. Oh, now my alert's going to be stuck. Don't know how to make that go away. Hey, there we go, it went away. Hey, there we go, get the alert as soon as I turn it back on. So that's what you get. That's going to be all station.
Cool. Ready for a shift out of RDM world then?
Sure.
All right. How do I make an odd and even button?
Wait, I just had a funny idea. 1 second.
All right.
We'll back up to that last question. The alerts, are not all stations. The alerts are per user. Every user has their own set of message center options. So it's not quite all stations. If a user has alerts, RDM alerts set to pop up, then any station logged in as that user will get a pop-up. So remember that like tech station that I suggested backstage? Maybe that user has the alert pop-up enabled. Okay. Sorry, what was that question again?
How do I make an odd even button?
An odd even button? I'd use MA2
I would too. It's a good suggestion.
Okay.
Do we have a webinar about this particular?
Yeah, we do.
Well, yeah. All right.
Somewhere in this list, MA2. And now I can't find it. There it is. There it is. MA2. Go watch that webinar. Number 8 on the Tech Talks playlist at Colliding's YouTube page. You're going to see all about MA2 functionality. I already have an odd even page here. How do I make it? Right click. Interleave it to. Well, yeah.
Interleave it to.
Oh, I should be able to, oh, I have to select some fixtures, I think, in order to build this correctly. I'm going to leave it 2. It's not letting me select an X. So instead I will do that. That would be odd. And then interleave 2, single X2 would be even.
Or you could just hit your next button with an interleave of 2.
Yeah.
Next will be your odd and even.
Yep.
But that's all in the webinar.
Yep.
Cool.
Cool.
All right. How do you get the sound input to affect BPM of Speedmasters?
You go to the sound input window, and the sound input is always affecting BPM. It's actually listening to my microphone right now, so if I snap my fingers, I should get it to calculate a beat, but me talking is going to interfere. And this is a global Speedmaster, really, which is like number 16. Speed BPM. So now I can't get a consistent snap here to get it to calculate. But you see how these are linked together? So there you go. That's it. Sound cannot be linked to any Speedmaster. Sound is only linked to the one BPM Speedmaster. For additional sound input functions, you have the trigger option, which is going to trigger based on sound or that calculated BPM. So a sound would be like a beat. And then in effects, if you go to like different sign, you have an option for sound. You can have it listen to all sound or to a specific frequency. Those are 3 sound input options.
Cool. All right, shifting gears, some preset questions here. Is there a way to find out if a preset is used in a queue anywhere on the console without having to go through each sequence?
Yeah, I would use search. Did we make a search? We haven't done a search webinar yet, have we?
We have not.
Yeah, so go to screen 4. Oh, I don't have any presets. I blew out the show file. Why don't we do something simple? Grab all these, make them a color stored in a color pool. There we go. That's preset 4.11. So I'm going to store this to executor 1 and 2. It's going to make me 2 sequences. And then I'm going to create second queues, third queues in there, and then I'm going to call this again and store this specifically to executor 2. So now I know this preset is used in Q1 on both executors and Q4 on executor 2, aka sequence 1 and 2 in this case. So I will search for preset 4.11. And it tells me in Q1 on both sequences and in Q4 on both sequences. So handy.
Where can I learn more about that, Will?
There's actually a really nice page in the help manual. So help2.malighting.com. Oh, actually, I already have it open. Threaded view, tutorials, search and replace. It's all there. Right?
Yeah, it's a good page. I like that page.
Yeah, it's good.
You showed it off.
All this information is out there. Just got to do a little search.
Sometimes you just need a little push to find it. Hey, Will, if I'm using an off-brand fader wing, can I still unlock parameters?
No. Otherwise, we wouldn't make any money. Our software is free, which means we make all our money on the hardware we sell. So in order to unlock output, you have to buy an MA product. On PC Wing, on PC Node, full size, light, ultralight, etc. So all the services we provide are based on the physical hardware we sell, which correlates with the pricing structure. Okay.
So this is an interesting question. You ready for something a little, Yeah.
Do I want to get stumped right now?
That's what I'm asking you. Do you feel like it? I can search for others.
You could always ask it. I don't have to answer it.
All right. Can sound input be used as a form for effects be recorded? So for later when sound input is unavailable.
Well, no, because we don't have a DMX recorder. So you can bounce. I mean, you could have it. You could have sound manipulating effects.
Mm-hmm.
So the dimmer's bouncing up and down.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't have a DMX recorder. Now I can tell you a little funny trick. If you use a dummy dimmer, if you make your sound input control a dummy dimmer, and then use DMX remotes that then control a fader, the fader is bouncing up and down. Timecode can record the position of a fader bouncing up and down, so then you can play back the timecode show, which would then bounce the fader up and down. So I guess there's a way. And you could have that be a temp fader, so theoretically it could control any attribute. If you choose to use that technique, though, do not map that fader to a real fader. Make sure it's always just a virtual one on the screen, because otherwise the motor's not going to be able to keep up on the moving fader. But I know people that have done this. They've done their shows like that. Got it?
Sorry, I was just very interested by that. How can I program a position fan?
A position fan?
Yeah.
I don't have enough fixtures in this show. We'll just save this as RDM just in case we have to come back. We don't have a line webinar. Why wouldn't we have a line webinar? I don't think we would make one.
No, I feel like this question has come up before, but I don't think we've like full on.
Minus 50 through 50. There we go. I just made a fan. Made a fan. These numbers. Oh, but I didn't tilt them first. We'll tilt them to 40 degrees. There we go. Yeah. But basically, if you want to do this manually, you have an encoder. So align to center and spin your pan encoder. So I happen to have a command wing hooked up, so I can do this. So you spin your pan encoder and it fans your values. I mean, you can do this with any value. You know, red. You want to fan red? Yeah. I mean, fanning colors is more fun with this window. So then you could do something like this. Yeah. Do a little rainbow.
So in case anyone's missing it, our fan out button is the align key.
Oh, yeah. That's a good point.
Yeah.
So with colors, I always start with the outer color and then I go to the inner color.
Nice little mirror.
Yeah.
I think we have one last question here. It is a little bit long-winded. Is it possible to put a delay time 0 through 2 on a delay attribute with a macro? So let's say your color wheel, you wanted to put a delay from 0 through 2.
Well, the delay keyword applies to the current feature, mix color of the current selection. So I'd say delay 0 through 2. And that applies to my current encoders, if I can see, 0 through 2. So, what's your macro? Oops, it's just what I just typed in, delay 0 through 4, right? Delay 4 through 0 through 4, and it's middle, outer to middle to outer. Through 0 through 4, I can get all crazy like that. So
your macro is essentially going to be based on your current selection, your current place. So your macro is going to be multi-line. It's going to bring you to that group. It's going to bring you to that layer, and then you're going to apply it.
Yeah. So how do you figure this stuff out? Just do it. I mean, it's funny. The same exact question was in last Thursday's webinar.
I noticed that. That's why I asked it again.
So if you want it to be just color wheel, hey, look, attribute color 1. So if you're not currently mapped, you would say attribute color 1, which maps the right encoder. Maybe this is red, and then it does delay 5, and it applies that there. So that's your macro syntax: attribute color 1, delay 5.
Cool. That's all the questions.
That's perfect timing. You guys are wonderful. I hope you have fun today's webinar covering RDM. You know, try it out. Grab some fixtures, turn it on. If things go a little funky, turn it off. You can still do your show. You know, so on your next show, plug some fixtures into your MA products and see what it reads. And you can see what modes it in. You can change some settings. You can see the lamp hours, etc. And as people start using this more and more, it'll gain in popularity. Fixture manufacturers will be more compelled to put more features in associated with it. Okay? So with that, happy programming.
Happy programming.